Welcome to Reddit Said It. For more content, please like and subscribe to this channel. Reddit, what do you think is wrong with society today? Honestly, I think a better question would be, what is not wrong with society today? Not enough empathy. Too self-centered. Short-sighted people looking for easy ways to win. Poor education makes it all that much worse. Most of society lets social media and or the news control their thoughts and expectations way too easily. The emphasis we put on appearance. You can't judge a person from what he/she looks like. For instance, I look like a nice girly girl. In reality, I attended kung fu lessons and I like metal. If I wore metal shirts, people would get away from me. I work in a hospital and I appear like a girl who can defend herself, when I know some really useful self-defense techniques. Everyone's deteriorating communication skills and heightened sensitivity to when people express how they really feel. Instead of using phones to call 911, bystanders use their phones to record the crime or accident. I know a fire chief who said he would show up to a fire and not one of people in the crowd had reported it, but many were filming it. No empathy, greed is celebrated, willful ignorance, too much narcissism and materialism, etc. There's a lot. People are too sensitive and we've become a culture where if things don't go your way, you can always keep whining and eventually someone will make the perceived injustice go away. Failure to recognize one's own behavior as variations on the primate dominance game. Not enough people stop and ask themselves why they're doing what they're doing or why they want what they want. Social media 100%. I'd say more specifically those people who choose to be the worst version of themselves on the internet and social media. Of all the bits of your personality, why would you choose to amplify the worst bits? When students cheat on exams, it's because our school system values grades more than students value learning. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Education should be for life and not for a test every now and then. People don't realize responsibilities come with rights, and they confuse rights with privilege. Also, people want things, but they aren't willing to work for those things. The media. In the never-ending game for ratings, the media has become more about sensationalization and drama than about news and facts. Couple that with drastically increased access to news and information through the internet, and you have consumers with zero attention spans who are able to seek out not only the most dramatic headlines, but only the headlines that they want. Confirmation bias goes through the roof, and discourse is all but forgotten. Confirmation bias is the root of the problem. It's rampant in the media, but it's also in religious organizations, marketing, corporate culture, educational institutions and more. We're creating a culture where nobody has to back anything up with any kind of actual proof anymore. It seems everyone is used to it by now. If they saw it on a billboard, or their pastor said it, or a bunch of the bosses chastise those who don't agree with it, or someone they respect says it, it becomes fact. This is also why it's impossible to educate people when they have facts wrong. They witness people being educated about topics with nothing to back it up whatsoever, so they are entitled to repeat the information the same way. Once they have this false knowledge, they will refuse to even look at facts that are contrary to their opinion. They will do anything to prevent the facts from being heard, hold up their hands, interrupt, walk away, shout them down, make accusations of lying. 50 years ago, were people allowed to shout PFF, do you believe everything you see in the library? Instead of actually having a reasonable discussion, the confirmation bias has already gone through the roof, and a lot people are too prideful to actually look deeper into anything in fear that they might be proved wrong. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts while the stupid ones are full of confidence. Charles Bukowski. Everything on this page. The effing pessimism. Humanity hates itself right now. Everyone complains and whines about the current generation, as every generation has done for hundreds of years. We're going downhill. We're going to kill ourselves. Look at what we're doing to each other. You're nothing new. Humanity is flawed, and it won't fix itself overnight, but we're working on it. The 21st century is the least violent, most open-minded and free era in Earth's history. Stop acting like it's something new to this generation every time someone commits an act of depravity. The power of mass media, mass commercialism, and mass politics have allowed the 0.1% to remove the last vestiges of free will. 24/7 365 marketing convince us that without the crap that they sell at Walmart, our lives are incomplete failures, and so we will suffer any indignity just to keep just enough money coming in to keep afloat. 24/7 365 fear-mongering from media, both left and right, leave us paralyzed and unable to have a functioning democracy. Our system is split exactly 50-50 down the middle. and the 0.01% want it that way. If we ever got back to a 45-55 majority on either side, the voters would regain too much power to be able to actually change anything in this country. Celebrity worship. People really enjoy being liked. Photos, statuses, retweets and favorites. They need the constant validation. I see through the thinly veiled sarcasm that not all of you agree with me, and that's fine. Wanting to be liked is fine, but somewhere down the road you started keeping track and suddenly it's all you care about. Displacement of blame. No one is willing to take responsibility for their mistakes. I'm a manager, and every time I have to talk to an employee about behavior or performance issues, they blame it on circumstance or another person. Well, the bus was late that day, instead of, I was late for the bus. Bob told me it wasn't due till tomorrow, instead of, I had a miscommunication with Bob. It's especially prevalent in young people, which I saw when I taught, and which signaled an even bigger problem: entitlement. They all thought they had some sort of right to a pass on completing assignments, or attending class, or studying tests. My answer was always no. How about people are terrified of losing their job? If you show them that telling the truth will reward them more than making up excuses, then they will likely learn. It's prevalent in young people because that's the world we see now. All the adults we see publicized are blaming someone else for their own actions, and these people are very successful. These kids want to be successful too, which means absolving themselves of all the blame. Successful people in today's world do not admit to making mistakes. For one, taking someone into a meeting they know is about telling them what they're doing wrong is going to put them on edge. Instead, try taking them to a meeting to see where they're doing great, and ask them what they believe they're doing good at. After that's out of the way, maybe discuss potential issues and ask them how both of you can help that person fix this issue in the future. If you treat it like they are being interrogated by the police and their job is on the line, they're not going to say I'm screwing up.